This video and the Ultimate Comedy playlist are brought to you by Musical.ly. Download the app and check out WatchMojo's channel on Musical.ly. While this long-running comedy has always kept its humor current and topical, there are some old classics it loves to serve up again and again. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 South Park running gags. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're looking at jokes that have appeared frequently and across multiple episodes in this popular crass comedy.
Okay,
Mr. Mackey, okay.
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 Number 10, Kick the Baby.
Kick the baby. Don't kick the baby. Kick the baby.
While this gag has seemingly been retired, or is at least in a long period of hibernation, earlier on in the series, Kyle had an unusual hobby. When in the presence of his little brother Ike, he liked to kick the baby, to which Ike would usually respond, "Don't kick the baby."
Check it out. Ready, Ike? Kick the baby. Don't kick the goddamn baby. Kick the baby. Wah! Ow.
The gag usually ended up with Ike destroying property in some capacity.
Ready, Ike? Kick the baby. Don't kick the baby. Kick the baby.
While it hasn't been featured on the show much in recent years, it was included as one of Kyle's special attacks in the 2014 game South Park, The Stick of Truth.
Kick the baby. Don't kick the goddamn baby. Yay! I hope this alliance can last.
Number 9, Randy's alcoholism.
I can't drink any more of that stuff.
Rather than an explicit gag with a snappy one-liner, Randy Marsh's alcoholism was a gradual build. In seasons 2 and 3, we start to see that Stan's dad might have a problem with alcohol, with Cartman even commenting on it by season 7.
Looks like Stan's dad's been hitting the bottle again.
By season 9, he's getting into drunken brawls, losing his driver's license, and starting to attend AA meetings, only to relapse in a big way.
3 shots of Macallan, 2 small bottles of vodka, 3 bottles of beer, and some Jell-O shooters. Come on, let's go!
While alcohol abuse is no joke, it does put into perspective some of the wilder antics and beliefs of Mr. Marsh. Ethanol is a hell of a drug. Number 8, Canada and Canadians.
I am not your guy, friend.
I'm not your friend, buddy.
I'm not your buddy, guy.
While all of the characters in the South Park universe are arguably strange and have their own little idiosyncrasies, there is arguably no group quite as odd as their version of Canadians. Many American television shows portray Canadians and Canada within a narrow spectrum of stereotypes, both flattering, nice, skilled at hockey, welcoming, and not so flattering, unintelligent, drunk, mediocre. But with flapping heads and jerky, hectic movements, the South Park Canadians are like another species altogether.
This is not about diplomacy. This is about dignity. This is about respect.
It's so over the top that it's hard to imagine anyone taking offense, but it sure is good for a laugh.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, buddy.
Number 7, Butters, you're grounded.
Butters! You are grounded, mister!
Ah, hamburgers. After being upgraded to a more central role during Kenny's permanent death in season 6, Leopold Butters Stotch has become more or less a regular member of the group.
This is for all the times I got grounded.
Oh!
While Kyle, Stan, Cartman, and Kenny are either genuinely up to no good or just cooking up some half-baked idea to have fun, Butters is a naive, go-along-to-get-along sort of kid.
Well, would you mind telling me why there's rice-a-roni in my coffee?
Uh-oh.
Butters, you are grounded!
Despite the hijinks of the other 4, and even if the results of a failed plan are not his fault, it's generally the innocent Butters who must face the wrath of his strict parents and other adults. Gee, fellers, that doesn't seem very fair now, does it?
I hope you're both very satisfied with the damage you've caused, because you're both grounded!
Number 6, Cartman's mom's promiscuity.
Dude, it's a lady getting pooed on. Whoa, is it Cartman's mom? Oh, very funny.
Leanne Cartman is certainly the most soft-spoken of all the South Park parents, and in keeping with her demure nature, generally seems incapable of controlling her son. However, despite her outwardly conservative personality, she is in fact sexually voracious and apparently gets it whenever from whomever she can.
I admit it. I might have made love to your mother at the drunken barn dance, but who here didn't?
Her sexual appetite has been a running joke since the beginning of the show, with her exploits including banging it out with most of the town, celebrities, politicians, and the entire Denver Broncos team, as well as stints in internet porn and prostitution.
Oh, yeah.
Number 5. Chef singing.
Hello there, children!
Before the character of Chef was brutally killed off, he was a main character and seemingly the only reasonable adult in South Park. When the boys had a problem or questions about life, he usually bid them a friendly hello before proceeding to teach them a lesson, try to help them, or offer to sing an educational little song.
I'm gonna make love to you, woman. Gonna lay you down by the fire.
Of course, these songs usually had to do with love, playing it cool, and other topics a little too mature for boys in the 4th grade. For us home viewers, however, they were always pure comedic gold.
When a man loves a woman, and a woman loves a man.
Number 4. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Well, you know what I say? Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Of the 4 main characters, Cartman is the most likely to not only get himself into trouble, but the others too. And if there's one thing that can be counted on, it's that when the going gets tough, he is bailing. Whether a task is too difficult, he's too bored, or he feels like others are having too much fun, he is out.
No, you nah, me nah. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
While it's true that he would like us to all respect his authority, it's this phrase that really sums up Cartman's personality. He doesn't care what happens to anyone else, as long as he can get home to his junk food and video games.
Okay, that does it. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Number 3. Kyle's Monologues.
I learned something today.
Once upon a time, TV shows, especially family sitcoms, couldn't just be entertaining. They typically wrapped up with a moralistic theme. When done right, it worked. But more often than not, these summaries came across as hammy and more than a little preachy. Apparently riffing off that cheesy sentimentality, early South Park episodes would get a similar wrap-up, generally with Kyle announcing to his friends that he learned something and then sharing it.
You know, I've learned something today. You see, the basis of all reasoning is the mind's awareness of itself.
These lessons could be basic pontifications on friendship or a means of dealing with an existential crisis. The gag is so prominent that by later seasons, his friends had started to grow a little sick of him.
Is he seriously giving a speech right now?
Number 2. They took our jobs.
They took our jobs!
When all else fails, blame someone else, right? First cropping up in the season 8 episode Goobacks. When time-traveling immigrants show up in South Park, it became the rallying cry of anguish for the local redneck population.
They took our jobs! They took our jobs!
Roared repeatedly throughout the episode and devolving into almost nonsensical crowing. The gag satirizes complaints about immigration and how one-note those protestations tend to become.
And now everyone's getting laid off work! They took our jobs! They took our jobs!
The gag itself has become a meme of its own, with "they took our jobs" becoming a catch-all jab at xenophobic remarks.
You took my girl and you took my job! He took his job!
Before we get to our number 1 entry, if you're a fan of comedy, you should check out Musical.ly. They've got tons of hilarious videos on there. Here's one of our favorites.
This is how we do it. La, 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 This is how we do it.
Download the Musical.ly app to check out more. And now, back to our list. Number 1. Kenny's recurring deaths.
Oh my god, they've killed Kenny! You bastards!
From the very beginning, the most iconic running joke of the show has been the death of the boys' mumbling little buddy Kenny, and their anguished cries of "you bastard."
Oh my god, they killed Kenny! You bastards!
The gag has taken on a couple of different iterations, with Kenny's soul getting accidentally sucked up by Cartman, and of course the most recent reveal that Kenny is actually immortal, and that to die painfully only to respawn but with none of his friends remembering his past deaths is a cursed superpower of his.
What is your power?
I can't die.
Not only is the death of Kenny a running joke, it's also a joke that runs with itself, growing bigger and more dramatic over time. This video and the Ultimate Comedy playlist are brought to you by Musical.ly. Download the app and check out WatchMojo's channel on Musical.ly.